Welcome back, everyone. This is Austin Reville with 2F Tactical and our From the Vault series featuring unique and historical firearms that come through our shop and are available to you, as well as our own personal collection. We want to highlight the ones that come to the shop and are available first because it's not often you get to own a piece of history, and we certainly have quite a few available right now. We've been very fortunate to have many historical firearms come through our shop in recent weeks, and we wanted to highlight them and bring them towards you. One of the ones that really needs no introduction, if we're just being honest, is the Winchester Model 12, or the Model 1912, or the M12. This particular one is from 1922. Really in remarkable shape. 30-inch barrel on this particular variant. This won't necessarily need to be a very long video because most of us already are very familiar with the Model 12 Winchester. These were developed in 1912 as the model number suggests, and were produced all the way up through 1964. This is a bit unique in a pump action as it's an internal hammer, not necessarily a true or a modern pump action like we would know today, but it does feature the pump lock just like you would on a modern gun. The quick action of pumping it, tube-fed magazine that you load through the bottom, and it loads it up into the chamber every time you pump, and ejects the spent shell, out of the side. Why highlight these when you see a decent amount of them? I mean, over 2 million were produced. The truth is, it's just really to talk about the history of these things. So while we have two examples, we actually have a 1923 and 1922 version of these in the shop in just absolute gorgeous condition, amazing bluing, and the wood is just in good condition. It's more about, let's talk about what did these do? Why are they so famous? Well, these are famous for their military service. Now, this was not a military version. This one would be a civilian version. There were some that were used in the military. The M12s, they would feature heat shields. They were a little bit shorter on the barrel. They had a bayonet lug that you could attach, and they served World War I as well, and for the trench sweeper, if you will. The 1897 Winchester was more common in World War I, but these certainly did see service. By World War II, the Model 12 really made a grand appearance, mostly in the Pacific. These were well loved by the GIs, which is one of the reasons why they were so popular post-war. You got to think a lot of individuals served during World War II. They would have maybe gotten their hands on one of these and used them in the field, and when they got home, they got an opportunity to own one, and they would buy it because they were very familiar with the weapon system. These served all the way up through Korea in the U.S. military. Like I said, different variant than this. You do see them come up, the actual M12s and stuff that had military service. They're extremely expensive and kind of rare. Not as rare as the commercial versions of them. But this is certainly one of the earlier models I have seen. Most of the ones I see are from the later productions, 1950s, 1960s, towards the end of the run. This one came through, and when I looked it up and found the year it was manufactured, it was really cool just to hold something that is, it's 100 and, what was that, 102 years old as of 2024. So very cool. This does incorporate everything that Winchester had learned from their pump action designs throughout history. Much easier to manipulate than, say, the 1893s or 1897 pumps. Those featured the actual bolt would come out of the receiver to load the cartridge in. So you would actually see a piece of it come out. This was cut open, and it would move, where all this is internalized. Much easier to manipulate, much cleaner, more reliable, because you would get dirt particles and all the stuff up into the action. These were very smooth, relatively simple to manufacture. Pump actions don't have a lot of moving pieces because you are the action. So these are relatively simple to use. There are people who still swear and hunt with these things today. I have people come through the shop, and this is their hunting gun. And again, the last one was made in 1964. So these have not been made in a really long time. As far as the calibers, it came in 12, 16, 20, and 28 gauge. There was a 410 model that was never put in production that they were looking at in the early 60s. I have not personally seen a 16 gauge version of one of these. I have seen a 28 gauge version of one of these, highly collectible. 12 and 20 were the big ones. Those were the ones that had the most runs compared to others. But these definitely had a long, rich history. There is something just classic about this with the ribbed design of the pump action with the wood. You see a lot of early hunter safety courses featuring these guns as the prop for the photos and stuff. I've seen NRA materials where it's the Winchester Model 12 is what's being depicted. They may not reference it specifically, but just the overall design of the hunter, it's the Winchester Model 12. They really have become an iconic gun. I've even seen some Prohibition era movies where these make appearances because they are period correct and they're relatively easy to get your hands on if you're looking for period correct guns. Looking at Peaky Blinders actually recently, there was a scene where one of these made an appearance, which again, it would be right around that era. Whether or not that was true in real life, the filmmakers had one of these make an appearance in one of the episodes. But these are really cool, iconic designs. I mean, there's something when you look at a Winchester Model 12, you just know what it is. It's the overall sleek look. These aren't, given the fact that they're all metal and wood, they aren't like excessively heavy. Certainly heavier than the modern shotgun with synthetics and aluminum and all that we use today, but they aren't really excessively heavy. They didn't come in 10 gauge. We do have a Winchester coming up, 1901 and 10 gauge. That's quite something to look at. But these are certainly an upgrade over the lever action variants and really do feature all the modern features that you and I know about shotguns today. I mean, you have the crossbolt safety, very, very similar to what you would see today. Like I said, you have the pump lock right where you would expect it to be. Maybe today it's a little bit more pronounced than it is on this model, but certainly we have that today. Again, the loading, the working of the action, the 1912 features have just kind of become standardized and pretty much all pump action shotguns today. Doesn't matter if you're getting one of the G-Force Turkish made ones or if you're getting one of the Browning, say, BPSs. It all features something that Winchester pretty much standardized in the Model 12. They certainly weren't the only ones to do it, not to say that they were the only ones to do it, but they did it in the greatest numbers compared to most other manufacturers. It was certainly helped out with military contracts, but their military contracts weren't overtly big compared to other guns. I mean, we think the Winchester was making, say, Springfield M1 Grands, or excuse me, they made their M1 Grand alongside Springfield, I should say. So compared to that contract, the military guns that were the Model 12 military versions was not anywhere near those numbers. Hence why you don't see a lot of them. They didn't make as many M1 Grands as Springfield did, which is why they're also somewhat rare. But the reality is these were just highly functional, uber reliable guns. And when you're looking for something for a military contract, why not the Model 12 would really be the question. It's tried and true and was proven by, 30 years almost, or pretty much 30 years by the time World War II broke out. But anyway, I want to bring that to you today. We have more coming up because we just get new historical firearms that come through the shop every single day that are super cool and very interesting. There's a bit shorter video than normal, but we know a lot about the Model 12. If you want to see like a breakdown video, there's several breakdown videos out there, Forgotten Weapons with Ian McCollum being one of them. But anyway, till next time, come check us out. Maybe come check out this Model 12 right here from 1922 or the 1923 sister. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you.